And we'll gather quorum when we have it. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the May meeting of the State Licenses and Permits Committee of Community Board 5. I'm Seth Borden, the committee chair, and before we get started, we'll go around the room so that committee members can introduce themselves. So I'll start on the left.
I'm Melissa Stewart.
Hi, Milan Mijatovic.
Hi, Andrea Ng. Gail Kelly.
Yoden Fondon.
Hi, David Shapiro.
All right, and then online we have.
Todd Shapiro here.
Perfect. Thank you, Todd. So we have 4 items on the agenda tonight. First will be new business. Next will be an application for a new liquor license at 39 West 19th Street. Next will be an application for a new liquor license at 652-656 Avenue of the Americas. And then the final item will be an initiative we're launching to consolidate and simplify the restricted licensing area and the Broadway corridor restricted licensing area. So before we get to the main agenda items, we'll have new business. So before we go into the next item, is there anyone attending, including members of the public, that has any business for the committee other than the items on the agenda? All right. So we'll move into our main items. For those who are not familiar, our process for each item is as follows. First, we'll have applicants provide a quick overview of each application. Then we'll have lead committee members give an overview of their findings to focus our discussion. Afterwards, we'll have a Q&A session for members, and then I'll open the floor to the public for comments. After that, I'll put the committee into business session, during which committee members will discuss the topic, make a motion, and vote. The vote of this committee, assuming we get quorum in a couple of minutes here, will be our recommendation to the full board of CD5. So our first item is an application for a new liquor license for an establishment at 39 West 19th Street from Carne Asados El Beto LLC. I'll start by having the applicants provide a quick summary of their application. So I think, Adriana, I will hand it off to you. And if you could give a brief summary of your proposed method of operation, we'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Adriana from Helbron and Levy. Here tonight with you with Carne Asada El Beto LLC. They are looking to do a restaurant, and it is going to be in a rather large premise, which the board had voiced some concerns about. So we had done a walkthrough just so that the board could have a real vision for the space and to see what it feels like. And that way we could also address any other concerns. So the size being 1, it is 2 floors. It has an occupancy of about 315 persons. The seating capacity will be about 198. Now, again, that doesn't mean that every seat will be filled and that's how many people will be in the space at any given time. It's just simply how many tables will be at the dining, the chairs will be at the dining table. There will be 2 customer bars, 1 on each level. There will be 41 tables, 176 chairs. If you guys are familiar, they have an establishment within your district, Manhattan 5, Cuerno, which it is, again, the same concept, even a similar layout. It is fine dining, seated, reservations, focusing on Northern Mexican cuisine and traditional fire grill cooking. The hours that we are looking to do here, which we have toned them down again because that was a concern of the boards, would be 1 a.m. Sunday through Wednesday, 2 a.m. Thursday through Saturday, and last seating would be an hour before closing. And whenever there is DJ that would be played at ambient level only, that would also end an hour before closing. I would also like to highlight that the DJ is simply to enhance the dining experience. It's not the focal point by any means. It's not going to be the focal point in a layout perspective or concept. Again, it's food is the main focus here and providing a welcoming and great dining experience. And I'd also like to highlight, not only did they recently open their Midtown location last year, but they have 50 successful restaurants throughout Mexico and Spain. So we're just bringing that loved concept here to New York. And then I also have Milan here as well. Sorry, I can't see all the boxes. I'm hoping that you guys can. But he is the multifaceted manager representative of the applicant themselves, providing consulting and really getting their concept up and running and making sure that it is successful. So I would love to have him promoted as well, so he can speak to his experience and more of the passion behind the project.
Yeah, Milan, what's that? Yeah, Milan, I think he's right. I think he's actually on. Milan, are you able to hear the speak?
Yes,
Nice.
yes.
That's-
Hi,
Yeah,
you
you
all
can do
doing?
a quick intro as well. That'd be great.
Sure. As mentioned, we are the local operating management consultant partner of the concept because the ownership is based in Mexico. We have been actually in CB5 for quite a long time. We have other restaurants in the area as well, so we know the area, such as Grandma's Home on 22nd Street. We also operate there. We also have Milu, which is a fast casual on Park Avenue South, if you guys have ever been there. We are a restaurant company. Restaurants are our focus. It's all about the food. And this is really also carrying on to the venue on 19th Street. It is, as mentioned, it's a sit-down restaurant. We're bringing some great chef talent as well on board and creating a great experience.
Thank you so much, Milan. All right, with that, I will hand it over to Gail, who has taken the lead on this item and arrived at a great set, I think, of preliminary stipulations. So to quickly summarize the findings.
Yes, so I mean, Milan and Adriana covered a lot of it, but I did the site visit and they really emphasized, because I know there were concerns from the community, just knowing some of the issues we've had with other establishments, but they really emphasized they wanted to be a neighborhood spot with shareable plates. They sent, imagery of the mock-ups. It is very much a restaurant, because I know that comes up a lot. Is it a restaurant? Is it a club masquerading as a restaurant? This was very much a restaurant. Even though they do have bars on the floors, 89% of their seating is sit-down tables. So I know Adriana mentioned it, but it's 176 chairs, but 22 bar stools. So it is very much focused on food. There's no stanchions outside. There's no bouncer. There's no line. People will be making reservations on Resi, that sort of thing. So we talked about that. Previously, they wanted a 2 a.m. close on weekdays and 3 a.m. on weekends. And when we sort of voiced a concern about that and raised some of the concerns the community had, they were willing to work with us on that. So now they will be a 1 a.m. close on weekdays, a 2 a.m. on weekends. And again, I know Adriana talked about the DJ, but the intent, there's no stage, there's no dance floor. They said they were going to try and have the DJ minimally present. Like she mentioned, they're agreeing to decibel level. And Milan really sort of walked through the vibe, and they just wanted to have music that can set the mood. It's not supposed to be intrusive. They don't want people shouting. They were already starting, I believe, some soundproofing that did not exist before, including, soft rock or quiet rock, sorry, is what it's called. The sound reducing drywall and sprays they were doing on the basement of the ceiling. Also, the DJ will only be in the basement. Again, DJ, I think, is a person who will be playing music, not like a spin table kind of situation. And like they said, the company operates Querno. I could find no complaints against Querno in the district, and Milan operates Grandma's Home, which is very nearby. Again, no complaints. So felt like it was a very productive conversation, very grateful that they agreed to shift their hours to kind of hopefully help everyone feel a little more comfortable.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was helpful, and thank you to the applicants for the summary as well. The next step is that we're going to take any questions from the committee. Does anybody have questions based on the summary? Nice.
I do have a question.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Can you just describe the type of music you will be playing? I know it's going to be festival level, but what's the style of the music?
The style of the music will have a Mexican flavor to it. It is kind of a lot of older classics. It's not dance music. You know what I mean? This is they're trying to really imbue the place with a Mexican culture. So I think, I'm not I'm not that in depth with in terms of Mexican music, so I couldn't name any artists. But there's a lot of classic Mexican artists, and they're trying to and focusing on that northern. They're from Monterrey in northern Mexico, so they're trying to bring some of that kind of vibe over here.
Great. Any other questions? All right, seeing none. Oh, actually, Todd, sorry. Go ahead, Todd.
Hi, guys. I hope everybody can hear me. So I was very glad to hear that you cut back your hours after a good conversation with our board. I'm just curious, given the size, the number of seats of your restaurant, and where are you located again? Between what avenues?
Between 5th and 6th.
Okay, between 5th and 6th. There have been some issues there with crowds and handling some other difficult operators. I wish you all the luck in the world. It's Mexican food, which I love. And as long as you say, it's primarily a restaurant, not a club, what steps would you take? And Gail may very well have mentioned this in the stipulations. What steps are you going to take in terms of crowd control and making sure that there's space for everybody to come in? Could you just talk a little bit about that in terms of overflow and queuing in the sidewalks? Or does your site have plenty of room inside? Just talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely.
So we're, oh, sorry.
That's okay, Milan, you can go.
I was just going to say, we're all our restaurants we run on Resi, so we'll be controlling majority of the volume of the crowd will be reservations because it's a sit-down restaurant. It's also a way of controlling our tables, timing on the tables, very much restaurant style. We do have a little waiting area inside, but that's usually for people waiting for the rest of their party so they can be sat together and so forth. We don't have lines. This is very much a restaurant. So we are, when people come to our restaurants and they want to have a walk-in table, if we can take it, we take it. If we don't, we give them a wait time, 45 minutes, an hour, they can go somewhere else. They can, very much managing it in that fashion. We don't have like a standing wait line. We as a restaurant, we kind of give people adequate wait times and try to manage it that way.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions before we go to the public? All right. All right, with that, we will go to public comment. So is there anyone from the public who wishes to ask a question or make a comment? If so, please click the raise hand button now. And as you raise your hands, I just have a few asks of everyone. First, we ask that you try to avoid repeating what others have said. It's helpful to us if you simply say, I agree with the comment that another person made. And then second, we will, actually today we will not need to limit the time speaking, but we do ask that you keep your comments relatively short, under 2 minutes. So with that, Charles, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
That's good. So my question for the applicant is, I was just wondering, as a blind person who lives in the neighborhood, I was just wondering, do you guys have an alternative to Resi for people to make reservations? Because sometimes those websites are difficult to use with screen readers. Do you have Braille menus, and or do you just rely on QR codes, which can be difficult to use? And I was just wondering also about the handicapped accessible features of the restaurant, if there's handicapped bathroom, if there's enough space for a wheelchair to move around the location. And then my last few questions are, do you include gratuity when people are paying for their food? And I was also wondering if you guys participate in the NYC summer dining program or the winter dining program, which is always cool to go to and experience. And yeah, I think that's about it. I look forward to visiting sometime. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll go back over to that. Yeah.
Oops, sorry. I was just going to ask, would you like us to direct the responses at the board? Or are we allowed to answer each question?
I was gonna, usually we do just take them all at once, but for this one, I'll flip over to you all, and then, we'll go back to comments after that.
Okay. So to answer those questions, I think in terms of the accessibility access to the venue, we are fully accessible on both floors. Plus, we have an elevator as well for all the accessibility throughout the space with braille markings as well on all the bathrooms and all the kind of areas like that. Gratuity is completely optional. It is not included part of the check. We allow it up to the guests to kind of reward our service if they feel it's worthy of it. In terms of the accessibility of Resi, that is something. It's a really good point. It's something I think we should also check with Resi as well directly. They should be trying to improve that side of theirs as well. We primarily take our bookings through Resi, but we also aim to have our website fully accessible as well and compliant as well directly on our website. But I will check into the Resi side of things. So I think it's a really good point.
Thank you. All right, with that, next up, we will have Matt. Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
I have two questions. Is the applicant applying for sidewalk or curbside setup? And then two, how many events are they planning? And can the community board limit the number of events that would potentially lean it more towards party club and less restaurant? Thank you.
I'm going to pass that to Gail first to take the first question. If it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll let Milan jump in, but to my understanding, there's no true events planned. Again, it's very much a restaurant. This is not going to be having like party nights, DJ nights. I know they do have a small private dining room that is a table, a sit-down table that is by the kitchen, so not near the front and not, again, going to be a loud space, just something you could have like a birthday dinner or a work dinner. And also my understanding, no outdoor dining application at this time, so.
That's awesome. Thank you. Next up, Kim, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, everybody. As you stated before, the community has been very concerned about this, and we had really limited information up until now. It's very exciting to hear that it's an established restaurateur. We're very eager for that space to be filled up. I do still have a question. I have two questions, really. I would say that the 2 a.m. closing time does seem unusual for a restaurant still. We love Grandma's Home and would be excited for the same operator to come into the area, but Grandma's Home closes, I think, at 10 p.m. on the weekends. So why 2 a.m.? When does the kitchen stop serving? And then also, what are the plans for the basement floor? I don't have the numbers offhand, but I think the basement is like maybe 5,000 square feet. So what is going to be happening in the basement? Is that also table service and food, or what is planned for the basement? Those would be my two questions.
Thank you. So with that, I'll pass that to the applicants.
In terms of the basement, it is still sit down dinner service, still sit down tables, or low dining style tables. We have a slightly different design down there, and a little warmer kind of feeling because we're down in the basement. But in terms of conceptually, it is still a restaurant down there. For the closing times, conceptually it's different from Grandma's Home. Just in terms of Mexican dining does drag later. They have longer meals, they sit and linger. It's really part of the Monterey Northern dining style and that we've kind of done at Cuerno as well at 1271. People sit there for longer dinners and it drags longer. We are closing an hour earlier than serving, closing an hour earlier than the closing time, but it just allows people to then sit there and linger and talk, and we just don't want to be rushing people out the door then. So to answer the question, the service is an hour earlier than the closing time. Sorry if I missed a question there.
No, I think that's perfect. Next up is Martha. Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to say that it would be wonderful to have something in that space. It's been a big drag on the block. I live very nearby since it's been empty, and it would be really nice to have something like that in there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Martha. Next up is Kenneth. Please go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you for your application. I am a longtime resident and owner at the Emery Condominium at 27 West 19th Street. Unfortunately, our community lives with a degree of post-traumatic stress disorder from the Imperial Club, which was a dangerous disaster for many years before Oyemi occupied this space. So on 19th Street, we are very concerned about the risk of a 21st Street style existence with late night clubs. And I want to follow up about the closing time of 2 a.m., which means people can dine till 3 a.m. You mentioned Cuerno, another one of your restaurants. I see here online that the hours are Friday, Saturday till midnight. So perhaps you can explain why this is going to be 2 hours later. That's my first question. And the second is there any risk whatsoever that you will ever, under any circumstances, rent out to party promoters?
I'll address the first question. So the first item is that they do have an earlier close time than that. So it's 2 a.m. on the weekends and then 1 a.m. during weekdays with service ending an hour before that. But then for the other item, I'll flip it over to the applicants.
So the,
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I'm sorry, Milan.
That's all right. Just in reference to the promoters, there is absolutely no chance we would ever turn the place over to promoters. It's just it is a sit-down restaurant, and there will be it can be absolutely no chance that could happen.
Gotcha. Thank you. All right. Any other questions or sorry, comments from the committee or from you, sorry, from the public? That's great. So, all right, with that, I will take us back to business session. And during business session, no additional comment from the applicant or the public is appropriate unless requested by the chair. So any comments from the committee to kick us off? Potentially, Gail, do you have any like additional comments before we?
Only thing I'll say is I asked about the late hours as well, because it is a restaurant, but to Milan's point, you know, I've lived in Spain, many of us lived abroad, there is a very different dining culture, and he just emphasized, like, we want to be a neighborhood spot, we want to have shared meals, we want people to, you know, be sharing, and if they're lingering over a long meal, we don't want to rush them out. So I truly felt that the intention was very positive, not to create a club atmosphere, not to have people there late, but just so people can have sort of a more leisurely and different dining experience than you get at a lot of restaurants in the city.
And to just add on to that also, this is in the RLA, so for everyone's information, and the hours there are last seating of midnight with a 1 a.m. close time during the week, and then a 1 a.m. last seating with 2 a.m. close time on the weekends, and that's exactly what this is now. So good, another good element there.
Has the applicant had any issues with their other restaurants that we know of?
Not that I could find. I looked in against complaints for Cuerno and Grandma's Home. They all have great reviews. Many people say things in the reviews like wasn't too loud, great place to catch up. So no, I couldn't find anything.
I think we're spending too much time. It's fun. Like there's no issue. I live on 16th Street. I'm happy to see restaurants that are open later than 10 p.m. I mean, it's ridiculous how New York City has changed over the past 2 decades, where you used to be able to go and have a late dinner, and now everything's closed. There's COVID, so I'm appreciative that there's going to be more activity and more places to go at 10 or 11 o'clock. So I'm all in favor.
Thank you. Go ahead. Please go ahead. You have a question?
Did I hear my name called?
Yeah, you do.
So to me, this is an example of a good operator with a good history. They're in compliance with our RLA hours, it is concerning that they have a very large footprint. And we know that that there are a lot of bodies and a lot of other grandfathered in establishments in that vicinity that cause a lot of traffic. That's why I asked the question that I did. But there's nothing in the record, and hats off to Gail for asking the right questions. If this is in fact a restaurant, as by all appearances it is, and they're not having promoters and music and all the other things, I see no reason why we shouldn't give this a proposal conditioned on their acceptance of our standard steps and the hours that they've already agreed to.
That sounds like a motion. Is somebody ready to make one?
Yes,
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve this application.
With the,
With
essentially
the-
those hours and the.
Yes, with those hours they've already agreed to and
Yeah.
all of the detail and everything they've already agreed to.
And you second?
Second.
All right, with that, Gillian, let's take a vote.
Okay, did anyone else come in? No, okay.
Good, Laura. Good, let.
Yes, we do, okay. So, Seth,
Yes.
okay, and let's see, Gail,
Yes.
Lev,
Yes.
Samir,
Yes.
Milan,
Yes.
Gabby,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes,
Melissa.
yes,
Yes.
Okay, and myself, yes. Okay, look,
Yeah, Mr.
motion.
E.
Did I,
Okay.
oh, Andrea, sorry, Andrea, okay,
I've been kind
okay, sorry, yeah. Okay. Passes unanimously, sorry, Andrea.
Okay.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Adriana and Milan for being here and presenting. The next step is that we need to pass this through full board, which is on June 11th this month. And then after that, we'll send an affidavit to report this agreed on with. But we appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you
for coming
guys
in.
so much. Have a good
Thank you
rest of
very
your
much.
evening.
You too.
Bye.
All right, our next item then is an application for a new liquor license for establishment at 652-656 Avenue of the Americas, from Kingsman LLC. First, we will have the applicants provide a quick summary of the application. So I will hand it
Great.
over to you, Don.
Thank you, Seth. Hello, everybody. It's good to be here. My name is Donald Bernstein. Hey, Todd. How you doing?
good to see you.
Good to see you. This is a new application at the building that you're probably very familiar with on Sixth Avenue and 20th Street. It is going to be a private members club, Maison Estelle. And Sean Coogan is a managing director of Maison Estelle, which is located, it's got 2 or 3 locations in the UK. And he's up late at night, but he's going to give you a description of what this members club is all about. I just want to give you a little bit of preliminary information. So private members club is a separate class of a liquor license. I don't know how many you have in your district. I've done a number, but mostly in other community boards. The premises are not and cannot be open to the public. It's only open to dues paying members of the club and the guests that that member brings in. The building currently houses Julan. Very aware of this building, the location, and Julan. I know that from what I've heard, they've been a big issue. I think we're all pleased to say that when we take over the whole building, Julan is leaving. So they will not be there anymore. We're taking over the 3-story building as well as the outdoor space that Julan is currently occupying. Given the history of this location in this building, and I'm very, very familiar with it because I've done applications for this building going back to 2001, when Peter Gation was finally booted out of that space. We wanted to make sure for our benefit and for the community that the environmental impact of this venue would not create an unreasonable disturbance. So towards that end, we commissioned an acoustic study, a traffic study, and a security plan. I don't have copies with them, but I hope you've had a chance to review them. They've all been submitted to the office, and we're going to be implementing all of the recommendations from related to all of those plans. We also reached out some months ago to the 2021st Street Block Association. We met initially with Layla and Kim, gave them a detailed rundown. Sean came in from London for that. We gave them a very detailed rundown of exactly what we're doing and how we're operating the club. When I say club, it's a bad word to use. It's not a nightclub. It's a members club. We are not operating a nightclub. In fact, within the building, there is a full-service restaurant. Sean can walk you through that. After our initial meeting with Layla and Kim, we met again. Sean came. Ryan was there. We met with Kim and Layla. 15 to 20 residents, about 15 residents for quite some time. We did a presentation. We had a Q&A, and we're very happy to say that we got a very good reception. Some of the residents were familiar with Maison Estelle in the UK, and feedback, my interpretation was that it was very positive. The next step was we discussed all the operational issues with the Block Association. We originally wanted 2 a.m. 7 days a week. We compromised somewhat on that. We agreed to close at 1 a.m. on Sunday and Monday, and we drafted a memorandum of understanding that has been fully negotiated with the Block Association, and they are in agreement. It has not been signed, and the reason was they said they want CB5 to weigh in. Once, if you approve that tonight, which we hope we will, recommend approval on the terms set forth in the MOU, then the Block Association will sign it, and we will sign it basis of the affidavit, and will of course be filed with the state record. Thank you for this summary. This is right on, very helpful. There were just a couple of things that I want to point out with respect to the MOU. One is that, as I said, it's not operated as a nightclub. We will not be using any third-party promoters. There are not going to be any cover fees. The only outdoor space we will be using is what is currently occupied in the courtyard by Julan. That will be used for a restaurant. It is a part of the restaurant. There will be no bar in that space other than perhaps the service bar, but no customer bar. And that outdoor space will close by 10 p.m. weekdays. There will be no music outside of it. We will not be applying for sidewalk cafe, and we will not be applying for any roadway seating. There is no use of the rooftop. We talked about not having lines, and we agreed that we would not promote any line or queuing outside. We will not use any velvet ropes or stanchions. Assuming we get the building owner's permission, we'll put cameras outside. We've agreed upon the limit of the sound system, so that whether it's a DJ will have to be tied into our system, will be controlled in the same way. I think those are the only other points in the MOU that I wanted to highlight other than in the memo. And the last thing I want to say, and then I'll turn it over to Sean, is I think that the use of this building as a private members club has advantages over other uses that have a liquor license, whether it's certainly over nightclub, but even as a restaurant open to the public, because of the fact that unlike other venues, we can't control who comes in. And I've been before community boards where my client has said we're looking for over 35 patrons, responses in terms of age, responses. You don't know who's coming. The members club, we do know who's coming. There is also a limit to the number of members that we will allow, because we don't want to be in a position where a member is paying an annual dues and they can't get in because the place is full. And if you have questions, Sean can speak to that, because people that operate members clubs are very keen on knowing how to cap the membership. And the last point that I want to make about it is that this club, as most clubs do, will have a code of conduct, and all members have to sign on to that code of conduct, whether they're disrespectful to the building, to other guests, to the staff, to the neighborhood. They can either be not renewed or they can be thrown out of the club. And that's a very important tool to ensure that. What we find with a lot of these members clubs is people consider them sort of a home away from home, or an office away from home, where they can socialize, they can work, they can network, they can have partake in social activities. Because they're paying an annual dues, they feel some connection to that. So that's all I'm going to say. Let me turn it over to Sean, and he'll give you more flavor of what Maison Estelle is all about.
Thank you very much, Donald. Thanks for the introduction, and good evening, everybody. If I may, I'd just like to share a little presentation.
Yeah, Tom, sorry to interrupt. Your audio's a bit low. If you're able to turn it up or perhaps attach a mic, it might make it a little better.
I'll sit a bit closer because I don't know if I can turn it up anymore. Apologies. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
I'll talk right into the mic. If I may, I'd just like to share a presentation for those who may not know the brand. I think this might help to give an idea of who we are a little better. Although saying that, I'm not sure that I can actually do that on Zoom. Ryan, could you possibly do that from your screen? Would that work from your side?
Sean, I think you're gonna have to click share. I'm not able to. I'm not linked into this.
Okay, apologies. I'm going to have to share my entire screen, and I will move to the presentation.
We can still see you.
Can everyone see that?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Okay. We'll try like this, and then let me know if anything happens. So if I can just welcome you to.
It's actually frozen now. We can see your screen, but it's frozen on the browser.
Is that moving now?
Fortunately not.
No. Okay. Sorry about this. Some technical difficulties. Okay. Well, I will in that case then just talk a little bit about the brand, if I may. And if it is working later, then we'll do so. Essentially, what I was hoping to portray through the images was just a bit about our aesthetic and our sort of attention to detail, which is really sort of integral to who we are at Estelle. Our mission fundamentally from a membership point of view is to create spaces where community can grow and really meaningful connections can form. So we're a brand at the moment of 3 properties in the UK, founded by entrepreneur Sharon Pasricha. The first of which, Maison Estelle, opened in Mayfair in the centre of London back in 2021. That was followed by Estelle Manor, that was opened in rural Oxfordshire, beg your pardon, in 2023. And then finally Celeste, which is our neighbourhood house, that opened in the vibrant residential area of Notting Hill, actually just 3 months ago. Really, the key pillars for us, and sort of pull upon what Donald said just then, is being a home away from home, and the way that we coin it is to be a hosted home, where really we act as an extension of our members' own homes. We have sort of old school values where we promise very personalised service, and discretion is always at the heart of what we do. But with very much sort of new school values, where our members, as we say, have plenty to say, but nothing to prove. We're food and beverage obsessed, so restaurants are really central to what we do as well. We've got a variety of concepts throughout our clubs, and that's again something that we're really proud of. And also community and cultural programming is really important to us. And it's something that our members see real value in when they take up a membership. And that could be anything from access to sort of keynote speakers, to networking dinners, and to gatherings beyond the 4 walls of the club. Perhaps if I hand over to Ryan to talk in a little bit more detail about the property specifically.
Sure. So, hi everyone, Ryan Alessio. I'm representing the US development for the concept. So I'm just gonna try to share this for a second, if you'll allow me, so that we can make sure we're giving you the full benefit of the concept. But basically, we have, a series of different opportunities to really create what we feel is a unique opportunity for the market and for this particular location. As Donald mentioned, there is a series of different previous uses that we're really intending to be quite different from. This is not a nightclub. It's not intending to be a nightclub. It is really an all-day members club use. I'll let Kim, when she has the opportunity to speak, actually be able to kind of allude to the overall community, the Block Association sentiment. but I'm just going to give you a bit of a flavor for what I think Sean was planning to pull up here in just a moment. So just kind of a quick overview of the brand, obviously UK based, everything is private, so you won't really find anything publicly disclosed on the internet. There's no photography allowed. Really, privacy is the ultimate discretion, and sort of the opportunity that kind of unites all the membership community here. And so this is from the Manor, which is a public facing property about 90 minutes outside of London in the UK. Because there is a hotel component here, most of this imagery is publicly available, but gives you a sense of kind of look and feel, level of interior fit out, and the opportunity that we really feel we have to create something special here in New York. The Maison Estelle brand is a family of brands. So the first location in Mayfair, which Sean alluded to, there is the Manor, of course, which sits outside of London, and Celeste, which is the second property that opened in Notting Hill. When we're speaking to Limelight specifically, the building has a service entrance, a private dining entrance, a primary entrance on 20th Street, as well as a service entrance where the existing Julan staff come in and out, as well as patrons. So the service entrance, private dining entrance, goods delivery, mobile app pickup pin location will all be on 6th Avenue. And the main member entrance will be on 20th Street. Which is, again, will be guarded at all times with security during all operating hours at a minimum of 1 guard, sometimes 2, depending on closing hours and anything else that's happening within the 4 walls. So again, our entire purpose here is really to restore the building back to its former glory, and in some cases improve to the maximum extent possible. Obviously, this is a rendering for illustration purposes, not a proposed actual rendering. This also needs to be vetted by Landmarks, which we're in the process of organizing, together with an interior design team and a very sophisticated group of consultants that are dedicating a lot of time, energy, and money to this project to really be able to make something great for the community and for New York overall. In terms of a quick overview of the floor plan, so the courtyard, which everyone has previously mentioned, is 2,600 square feet. It is not a sidewalk cafe. It's within the premises of the actual building itself. So it'll be fully privatized and only available for use by members and their guests. There is a large member queuing area when you first walk in. So the member check-in opportunity will all happen in the interior of the premises. As Donald mentioned, there's no queuing on the street, no stanchions, no reason really ever for people to be outside other than just transit and kind of arrival and exiting experience. We have multiple different concepts here. So starting with a pantry, which is an all-day concept, that'll be breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's a series of different lounges that are throughout. There's a private dining space on the ground floor, and a series of different back of house spaces to be able to support the overall operation. On the second floor, the bulk of the main dining really happens there, as well as a Japanese concept and a small private dining room, and all the service to be able to support that. On the third floor, we have some dining mezzanines, which again will be used for private dining opportunities, as well as a workspace. So study, all-day lounge, opportunity for members to bring guests, colleagues, have a coffee, bring a laptop, et cetera, et cetera. And that's really everything that I think we wanted to highlight, but I felt it would be important to give you the visual overview in addition to hearing a little bit more about the brand.
Thank you all. Perfect. So now I will hand it over to Yoden, who is taking the lead on this item and also arrived at a good set of stipulations.
Okay, thank you. Well, I had a good meeting with Ryan and we did a walkthrough, and personally, it was quite an experience for me, having been in the Limelight back in the 90s, and seeing it as it is today. It's quite a ambitious plan. I think it's, Ryan, you said a 2-year build out to restore the space and consolidate all the different spaces. There in a couple of different tenants there, including currently Julan. It's 26,000 square feet spread out across 3 floors, and there's a basement and a rooftop, which are not accessible to the public. The capacity is 655 people, which is a lot. It is a private club for dues paying members only. And we've been assured by presentations today that, you know, there will be no velvet ropes, no promoters, no queuing. They have adequate lounge space at the entry point on 20th Street for members to do check-in and meet their guests. It is a members club, which has a higher degree of security, as was noted. I just want to highlight some things which were mentioned. The key takeaways were their operating hours as proposed are consistent with our RLA and also our rear yard outdoor policy. So that would be Tuesday to Saturday closing at 2 a.m. and Sunday to Monday closing at 1 a.m. And for the outside courtyard, Sunday to Thursday closing at 10 p.m. and Friday to Saturday closing at 11. Brian mentioned that the 6th Avenue address will be used as the pinpoint on maps and rideshare apps. I don't know quite how that works, but I glad that that's possible because there is concern about traffic congestion on West 20th Street. And then related to that, we talked about the garbage disposal taking place on the 6th Avenue side by the service entrance. There is a possible issue because there's a bus lane right by that. So I believe you may have to apply for a loading zone. I don't know how that works, but something for us to consider. We went through security. They will have at least 2 full-time security persons at all times, one at the entry door on West 20th Street and another floating, and then additional security as needed. They presented us a detailed acoustic analysis, and they have agreed to to play music at a background level only and have DJ and live music, but never to be played above 100 decibels level. And I have to say, this was so easy for me because of the work that had already been done. So the memorandum of understanding. So thank you to Donald for having the foresight to reach out to the Block Association and do a lot of the groundwork for us. So I think that's it. Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you, Evan. So any questions now from the committee on this item before we go to the public? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think I have 2 things I wanted to inquire about. One is just regarding the capacity, like Yodan mentioned. It feels like a lot of people potentially occupying it. I get realistically, we wouldn't expect it to be at max capacity all the time, but I do wonder if there's any risk of potential crowding. Even if we're not talking about like, you know, roped lines or anything like that, is there any potential risk or mitigation plan if there are potential just groups of people, just given just law of large numbers, like I would imagine. So that's one thing. And then I see the build out being 2 years. If there's any just commentary from the applicant around just the impact of construction or anything like that on the neighborhood.
Sure, I think Sean, maybe you start with some of the existing utilization statistics that you have at the existing location. And also just one broad comment to say that the occupancy counts will change as we have to go through a full all-one filing. So that is just the existing CO occupancy count. It's not the permitted use occupancy count. And also, given the space and the scale, we do not intend to be operating all areas at any given time. So it will always be operated as efficiently as possible based on demand, but I will let Sean speak to the numbers more clearly.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. That covers part of what I was about to say. The other part I should say is that a lot of our spaces are restaurant spaces, and we book those restaurant spaces in a similar way to public restaurants with the same sort of flow, so that we can control capacity throughout any given time period. The other thing to say is that the benefit of being a members club is that we can ensure all spaces are fully serviced when they're opened and fully hosted. So it enables us to be able to move members and guests around the space to avoid exactly your concern there around overcrowding.
Then to address the second part of the question around construction. So we have a pretty first-class construction owners rep team engaged, Iron Bridge Consulting. They've been responsible for several high-end build-outs across New York City, consistent with, whether it's mega projects like related companies, Brookfield, Manhattan West, etc., or high-end independent venues. So this will be best-in-class construction standards in terms of barricades, any type of protections to the site to make sure that we are not contributing to the homelessness issue that's existing on the block. And also, I think it's worth noting that none of the work that we're doing is structural. So it's all interior fit out work. Given the landmarks component of the building, the only items that will be changed on the outside, just restoring the facade in the areas that have been currently neglected, CapEx perspective over the years, potentially changing out a few broken windows and things of that nature. But there is no intended plan to change the core and shell of the actual building.
Thank you. Any other, I think that's in here.
I have two questions. First question is how much are you planning to charge per person annually? And second question is, since it's a members club, besides dining experience, what other services are you looking to offer in this location?
Sean.
Thank you. So I should say that we are still to finalise the rate here at Limelight, but just to give a comparative what we charge at Maison Estelle in London. So we charge an annual fee of 4,250 and a joining fee of 2,250. And I'm terribly sorry, I missed the second part of the question. I didn't quite catch it. I apologise.
Besides the dining experience, what other service are you looking to offer in this location?
It's mainly lounge spaces, so somewhere where our members can meet and have coffee in the morning, sort of work throughout the day. And there's also a private dining space with the entrance and exit on 6th.
And then also the all-table space.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And we'll go to Todd and then Todd, you first. Can you hear us, Todd?
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.
So the Limelight, having been as a historic building and having been such a flashpoint, I think that the use of a private club where, did I hear right? So basically the membership fees, including initiation, are between 4,000 and 6,000 per year. Is that right?
That's what we charge in London, so that's right.
Right. So I would guess that your membership is going to be a certain type and class of people that are well-heeled and I would hope law-abiding, at least it would seem to me. In the best case, assuming you rack up the memberships and you have a regular series of diners and club members coming, what do you think is the maximum number of members that you could take into your club? And during peak hours, how many people you think would be in there coming in and out, during the main dining hours?
Thank you, Todd. So it's a challenging question to answer in that it will be based very much on how frequently our members use the space, and it's something that we track very closely in London. It's something that we've been tracking very closely for, since 2021, and we've actually just got to a point where we felt as though our membership was at a time where it was appropriate to close. Therefore, we felt we'd hit the right capacity where member experience was at its premium, and the spaces felt convivial but not too busy. So I don't foresee that capacity in this case will be hit very often. Again, as a comparator, Maison in London has a similar capacity of 600, and it's rare that we hit that. It's all about control of numbers, which we do very closely.
And
again, just to clarify a little further, the average utilization that we're expecting here on a per diem basis is closer to 300, inclusive of all day parts. So that would be breakfast, lunch, dinner, etc.
And if you don't mind my asking, how were your discussions with the Block Association? I thought I heard that at the beginning. So were those favorable, and did they seem happy or reasonable about this type of use and your joining the neighborhood?
Well, I can answer that. So I think that it went very well. When we first met with Layla and Kim, just to have initial discussions, I think that they were relieved to know that we were coming in a very high quality operation as a members club, not a nightclub. And given the other options that could have arisen for the space, I think they considered it positive. I don't know if Kim, I think I heard Kim before, and if Kim and Layla will speak, I don't want to speak for them, but my reading was that it was very positive, and it culminated in an MOU. So we had an agreement. There was some back and forth, and when we met with about a dozen or so residents on 20th and 21st Street, it was also quite positive. Some people were actually enthusiastic. As I mentioned, some of the residents were aware of Maison Estelle in the UK, and they thought that it was great that it was coming.
Thanks, guys.
All right, with that, any other questions from me? We'll do the phone. All right, we'll go to the public then. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to make ask a question or make a comment? If so, please click the raise hand button. Kim, we'll go to you first. Please unmute yourself.
Hi, everybody. Yes, so hopefully it's refreshing. It's a refreshing change for the committee. Yeah, speaking on behalf of the Block Association, we wanted to testify in support of this liquor license. From the beginning, the operators at Maison Estelle have taken a very proactive and constructive approach with the community. As they said, they've shared extensive information about their business model, answered questions directly, and participated in a genuine dialogue with the community. And all of our members, I mean, we had a meeting, an in-person meeting, and then we shared their presentation and a live recording of the meeting with all of our members, and then also just residents outside of our Block Association that we've spoken to are also quite enthusiastic about the possibility of this operation. The private members club model itself alleviates many of the concerns we frequently have with other nightlife operators. By design, it's not a model built around open public access, promoters, ticketed events, or attracting large volumes of transient late night crowds. And we've heard consistently from multiple sources, including current members within our own community, that Maison Estelle's existing member clubs are thoughtful, well-managed, and respectful neighbors, and public records further support this. So their track record gives us confidence that they'll operate responsibly and be a conscientious community partner. We very much appreciated that they offered to enter into a memorandum of understanding with us. As Donald said, we didn't sign it. We wanted to be respectful of the community board process. But thank you. It sounds like you're taking that agreement into consideration when crafting your own stipulations, so that we hope you will, but I can't imagine any of it is controversial, as you know, they've been agreed to by the operator. Yeah, no, we recognize that this has been a long-standing, difficult corner to fill, and we are enthusiastic about the possibility of this operator helping revitalize it in a positive way. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Charles. Charles, if you could go ahead and make yourself.
Hello, can you hear me okay? Hopefully.
Yes, we can.
All right. I just wanted to politely push back on a comment that was made earlier in your committee question section. I just want to say I strongly believe that one's class does not establish whether one is more or less likely to be law-abiding or not. So I took a bit of an issue to that. And I wanted to say that I want to commend the applicant for working with the Block Association. I just want to state I am not affiliated in any way with the Block Association or with this private members club. But I just want to say it really is great that they worked with them and compromised, which is a big contrast to how this Block Association was treated at the full board meeting on April 9th, when they had an issue with the boxes establishment, when a few community board members actually said that this Block Association's comments were not fully legitimate and were crying wolf, which I think is not productive, not helpful. And hopefully from now on, just like this applicant has worked with the Block Association, maybe community board members will be mindful not to attack public speakers who come to this board and try to be part of the process and have genuine concerns. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charles. Next up is Martha.
Thank you. I am the unofficial liaison between my building. I've been on the block on 20th Street between 5th and 6th since 1977. So I have a long history with that building, and this to me is a wonderful upgrade. But I shared all the information the Block Association shared with all of us. I shared it with all my neighbors in the building, and I received this. For what it's worth, I went through the deck and made the connection that the owner of Kingsman is the same owner as Estelle in London. They run a number of properties in and outside London, and they are each exceptional. I have been to all of them. Discreet, well-run, and not clubby in terms of noise or footprint. If this materializes for the corner of 20th and 6th, there could be a lot worse options than what I think they are proposing. Of course, the association's focus on trying to ring fence their ambitions is a very good idea. Thank you for passing this along. So that's from one of my neighbors, and as someone else said, there were people weighing in who are personally familiar with the clubs as well. So I hope we can move forward and upgrade this remarkable building and corner and change the look of the entire corner of our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. And next we have Matt. Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
So I have two questions. They made reference that they won't have party promoters or ticketed events, but will the membership club have ticketed events for their members? And then two, with regards to the courtyard, is it understood that there'll be no amplified music, live music, or any audible entertainment within that courtyard? Thank you.
Yeah, there's no music outside of it.
No music, okay. Thanks for confirming. All right, next up we have Kenneth. Please go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you so much for the opportunity to weigh in here. Mr. Coogan, and I apologize, Ryan, I do not know your last name. I wouldn't be so familiar otherwise. I did want to let you know that as a resident of 27 West 19th Street, the Emery condominium, I've been in the neighborhood for 17 years. For the majority of that time, the Limelight has been a blight, despite the fact that I enjoyed dancing there 40 years ago. And I wanted to let you know how extraordinarily enthusiastic my partner and I are about your arrival. We could not be more supportive. We do belong to clubs, but they are up on 59th and 60th Street and Fifth Avenue. So to have the opportunity to potentially join a club right around the corner is amazing. Wishing you all the very best. And if there's anything that I can possibly do to be of any assistance, do not hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you so much. And my only complaint is, can't you move any faster than 2 years?
Thank you very much. All right, with that, I will put the committee into business session. During, oh, sorry.
Seth,
Not so fast.
1 sec, yeah, sorry, in person? Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
The few of us want.
Apologies, I thought you were with the
This
applicant.
this is for me, this is my biggest question. I know the building very well, very well, as a bartender there many years ago. In the plan that he showed, and obviously they put big money into this, right, there's a big money, but he only showed a rendering of the existing restaurant on one floor above it, which comprises 25% of that approximately. So there's no mention of what they're gonna do to the other 75%, which is the key, that was the Limelight. This was the back end, this is the regular, this is the VIP side of the Limelight, we're gonna turn it down. The Limelight Club was in the other 75, which isn't in the deck, whether they're gonna put bars in there, what it's gonna be, what actually they're gonna do there. You know, they have they have asked in their thing for live music, they've asked for DJs. They need knowing everybody's looking at space from Richie and Kiva on down, and all say, we're not gonna make it, this is gonna be a lounge and this, and I know they all wanna go also nightclub. I'll give you an example, I'm a member of Fly Fish, my old shot, Josh K. Bonner's the partner, he was my chef for many years. Fly Fish has many components, restaurant that's packed, but then they have a whole lounge downstairs that hosts 200-something people. They have less of an occupancy than the full Limelight. Julon has 235 people, Limelight is 6 times the size, just so you know. But Fly Fish has a whole club downstairs and they're rocking, they got DJs and stuff, but it's in the basement, so there's no noise bleeding to the top. Whatever, you know, a lot of these other private clubs, I'm going to Bungalow tonight, Bungalow has restaurants, St. Vincent, it also has a nightclub, but it's also in the basement. Now, this one, if I don't know, because you didn't see it on the plans, is there gonna be a little nightclub anywhere? If so, where is it? Is there gonna be more bars in the whole, other 20,000 plus square feet that's not shown on his rendering? Julon has 2 bars, 2 service bars, already 4. How many more are you gonna need now to execute the other 20,000 square foot? There's gotta at least be 2 more bars to another service bar going there. But now we've got 4 bars and maybe 3 service bars. There's none of that is on the floor plan, which it should be. Quite honestly, these guys have money. The rendering should have been much more clear. I had infinitely better restaurant renderings for any project I've ever done years ago. A lot less money than them. So sometimes for me, when I see that, there's another big concern. As beautiful as the Limelight is, and the stained glass windows are beautiful. Richard Upjohn did the fucking best design probably of the church ever. It's asymmetrical. I can tell you everything about it. I can tell you to the brick he did. The thing that he did not do is insulate the sound well. So no matter what you do with sound, it leads to the people across the street on the 20th Street spot. Comes to the stained glass windows. It's very, and you can't legally really block it. You can try to say you can put stuff, you can't block the sound there. You can put stuff blocked on the walls, but that's not where the sound bleed comes. Sound bleed comes from these huge stained glass windows that face rates. So those are my thoughts. Listen, I think it could be a fantastic thing, but I'm just curious to know what is the rest we're not seeing. You know, 75% of the old Limelight is not anywhere to rendering. It's in my eyes what it should have been. Like, why is it not there? These guys have plenty of money. We should see. They've calculated every square inch of that space. Any professional operator is going to take it, know it. They know what the fixtures are going to be. And I haven't seen one rendering of what the fixtures in the main room. What's there? You know, those are my biggest thoughts. But I think it should be addressed on a project of this magnitude, 30,000 plus square feet. This isn't the size of a Mexican restaurant. This is 5 times the size of that.
Thank you, yeah.
You know, it's a massive.
Thank you.
Do you live in Norwood, sir?
Let's go to.
Can I not answer that?
Yeah, no, let's go to Don. Sorry, guys, everybody.
I've known the building forever. I've been there for many years. I know like the back of my hand.
Let's go over to Don.
Well, we gave you detailed floor plans, so I'm not sure you're referring to the floor plans laid out every room, all the furniture, tables, seats, describe the use. Labeled the bars, there were 3 bars, customer bars, they are on the plans, they're labeled. We don't have renderings of the interior, but we have detailed floor plans. We gave you, so thank you.
Any additional comments from the public? Do you have a comment? Yeah.
Well,
Any other comments before we?
yeah, I recently, my name is David, I recently, been living around the neighborhood there. And I just have one question I wanna know, because you said it was for the community, you know, so what is it gonna be like? I live in a community, I know how much it is. I actually been part of Soul House, the members club on 14th Street. And I know that place is half the size of what this place is gonna be. And when I go there and I tap in and I join in and, you know, they see me, there's always like 250, 300 people in there, and that place at this capacity, and this place being a lot bigger. And when I leave Soul House, there's a lot of cars out front, people are out there talking, you know, they're mingling with members, you know, when they leave. So this thing seems like a great big project. Seems like it's gonna be double the capacity, because in Soul House, when I'm there, if there's 250, 300 people there at any given time, and it's a whole day members place, cost me like 6,000 to join for the year. You know, is this place, once it's up and going, I could see this place having a plethora of cars and 300-400 people outside, because it's double the size of my members club and Soul House. And I know there's 200-300 people there at any given time.
How does that affect you? I'm sorry, you live in the neighborhood?
Yeah.
David, we got it. Address me and then we'll.
Sure, I would be curious to know the folks that, the last 2 folks that spoke, what their intentions are.
We usually don't, don't ask. I understand. Any other questions? But please raise your hand if you have, or sorry, comments.
I actually did want to ask something.
Yeah.
So I'm actually from July and I agree with a lot of what was being said. I actually just wanted to make a comment about something one of I think one of the residents mentioned, and I do want to put it out there that it is very important for people to know that yes, class has nothing to do with it. Because I will tell you, I run the restaurant. We've had many clients that come in there. $6,000 is typically one check for us. And we still have lots of issues. My question really is now, also, with all due respect, Mr. Bernstein, you don't know what's in our lease. So I'm glad that you think you're gonna be, you know, taking over the entire building as soon as you can, but you really don't know what's in our lease. Secondly, one check of $6,000 is usually one client. That doesn't mean they don't come with a world of problems. There's many times that you'll have people that because they have finances, they feel they can act a certain way and they can behave a certain way. I mean, what sort of vetting are you? Are you vetting your clients? Not only that, you're coming in with guests. Even if you are vetting your clients, are you vetting their guests? Like, how is this working? You know, and the other thing I do wanted to mention, obviously, we knew you guys were coming for a while. This has been, I mean, we're obviously in the business right next door. It is mandatory that you do put up a 30-day notice to let members of the community know and residents of the community know. There was no notice posted on that building. There was only one notice posted this afternoon on that building, and I watch every single day because I knew the minute this applicant was pretty much petitioning for an application there. I passed that building, I parked on 23rd. I passed that building every single day, 7 days a week. There was no notice posted on the building. The only time there was a notice posted on that building was this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you
which
very
I
much.
took a picture of.
Thank you very much. So are there any other comments from the committee? Or sorry, from the public, please? Any last comments from the public? All right, with that, I will put the committee into business session. During business session, no additional comment from the applicant or the public is appropriate.
Seth, I just have one question I forgot to ask before we
Oh,
go
we can
into.
do that. We can do that. Let's do it right at the start of business session. We can go out for a second. What's your question?
Okay, so sorry, I forgot to mention this. I had on my list. As a private club, what is your record with regard to treating applicants for membership equally and being in compliance with all civil rights laws? You know, it's a beautiful building. Everybody, assuming they can pay the fees, should have an equal right to join and, you know, be considered as part. I assume you have some kind of membership review committee. Can you just speak to that and what kind of reputation you have, and that you're not going to discriminate against anybody? You know, that is often an issue with private clubs. Can you speak to that issue?
First, let me just give you a legal answer and then Sean can speak about it. So the statute, liquor laws were changed last year to allow for this type of private members club, for-profit members club. And when that was done, the law requires that they'll have at least 100 members when it gets a liquor license. And the reason for that was because that triggers the human rights law. So by law, all of the anti-discrimination statutory provisions will apply. So we're required, Todd, to not discriminate. Beyond that, I'll let Sean answer from there.
Thank you, Max. And I'm aware of that, but what the law requires and what actually happens with private clubs are often two different things. So I'd just like to hear it and, you know, get it on the record before our committee.
Sure, Todd. So every membership applicant goes through the same process. We first of all ask the applicant to fill out a bio about themselves. Every application is then passed to the membership team. We ask for 2 proposers on each application, and we take that process very seriously. We'll always check in with the proposers, and we ask that the proposers are already from within the community. We like the fact that our members are always a sort of 2 or 3 degrees of separation away from one another. That application is then passed by the membership team to the membership committee and considered. So every applicant goes through exactly the same process.
And do any of the other clubs in your brand, do they have any history of running afoul of equal treatment?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. All right, so now we will put the committee into business session. During business session, no additional comment from the applicant or the public is appropriate unless you request it. With that, any comments? Yeah.
I think it's nice that they met with the residents and they had this memorandum of understanding, and I think that we can move pretty quickly and just adopt it and move on to the next item.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, I just want to echo that and also respond to a comment made about how there was no public posting. So there was a public posting made. We have photographs of it provided to us by, I think it was I don't know, I can't remember who it is, but we do have that. And I was there, I think about 2 weeks ago, and I saw it posted on the door when I visited. And also, I think the more important, well, no, not the more important, but the fact that they have already engaged in extensive work with the Block Association from 20th and 21st Street satisfies my my need to have community input from the neighbors who actually live here. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to echo that. Sitting on this board or this committee, we want to hear from folks who are affected by these establishments. And so it would be helpful for me in my seat to understand some of the public comments and complaints and where they're coming from, as opposed to some sort of competitive, whatever the case may be. So I'm happy to hear complaints if there's valid complaints that are neighbor complaints and work with those folks. So that's being said. The second thing I'd like to say is I think that this is a very good use for the space. I've lived around here for probably 15 years or so. It's gone through a bunch of iterations. This seems to be a very good use of a very unusual space. So I'm fully supportive of this. And then the third thing I'll finally say is, this is not London. Thursday through Saturday should be 4 a.m. and I'm happy to support you guys coming back and asking for food. So I think that hours, assuming that they are good neighbors, there should be later hours for establishments that are good neighbors.
Thank you. All right, any other comments?
Is it okay to ask for a clarification around some earlier commentary?
Well, we could theoretically, yeah. What
Yeah, because I think one of our members of the public may have mentioned, and please correct me if I'm misunderstanding that, maybe the nature of the building would prohibit it from really having the soundproofing necessary. I think I heard that. So I just wanted to clarify that point, or if the applicant could address that, because I wanted to circle back to that, and I don't think it was formally addressed, because obviously I could imagine that being an issue. So just wanted to confirm if there is any risk that the building, just given its nature, its age, would make it, you know, prohibitive to soundproof properly.
Well, I think that's just why one of the reasons why we hired the acoustic engineer, who went in there, examined the space, talked to us about construction, and did a comprehensive report with understanding that sound will be limited to no more than a certain decibel level, so that it will not bleed onto the street. It's going to be done in new construction, as Ryan said, all state of the art.
I mean, if it's not a nightclub, I don't think you would, that you would, what's the 100 dBA, what that equates to?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, there was a really extensive acoustic analysis, with the application. I don't understand a lot of this language. But as I recall, I think what in the memorandum of understanding between the block association and the applicant, they agreed on background level only at 70 decibel levels and a maximum of 100 when they have DJs and live music. And there's also some exterior monitoring of sound where it will never exceed 40 decibels from the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, no music in the courtyard, but I'm not, yeah.
Can I just parrot back what I think I'm hearing? I believe what I'm hearing is you have this memorandum of understanding. We are not aware of anything that physically prevents the building from adhering to that. There is nothing physically or structurally that we're aware of that would make the building incapable of addressing. That is what I believe
I think so, yeah.
That's great. Thank you. Thanks for clarifying. Thanks, Bob. Any other comments or is everybody ready for
I'd like to motion for a vote.
On essentially the
approval of the resolution or the memorandum.
Yes, because you have an affidavit essentially, right?
Yes, I have a pretty close to finished affidavit.
Second.
Are we still in comments?
Oh, I'll let you sign. Yeah, please go ahead.
Point of order, I know it's been seconded, we have to take a vote. Or if you discuss it.
Yeah, Todd, we have a motion on the floor. Is it further to the motion or?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to comment on it. I guess I missed my chance.
Apologies, Todd. Good. Yeah.
I'm in favor of it, but I just wanted to get something on the record.
Yeah, go ahead really quick.
Okay, so I am in favor of this, given in my 11 years on the board on SLAP, I've seen so many potential uses of the former Limelight Place, and all of them have foundered in many different ways. But the fact that we have a landmark building where the block association has been engaged and where all of the potential areas of concern have been addressed to a reasonable degree, and where the applicant is signing off on our standard stipulations, shows that dialogue and the cooperation in goodwill of all parties is definitely possible. So I'm so happy to see that, because that has not always been the case, particularly for this site. Anyway, that's my comment, and now we can go on to the resolution.
Thank you, John. Take it to a vote.
Okay. Seth,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Lev,
Yes.
Samir,
Yes.
Milan,
Yes.
Andrea,
Yes.
Gabby,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
myself, yes, passes unanimously.
All right. Thank you very much for the applicants to being here and everybody who commented. As I said earlier, we'll take this full board and do and go back to you then I believe.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank
you. All right, our last item is a soft launch of what I'm calling the High Scrutiny Areas Initiative. So the goal today is to just give you quick necessary background, and then give an overview of the goals, answer any questions and take volunteers to spearhead this if anybody is interested. Josh, would you mind looking at that? As everyone knows, and this is related to the two applications we have tonight, our approach at CV5 is to take most applications individually. But there are two areas where there's consistent conflict between like the licensed establishments in the neighborhood they're located in. And that led the committee to establish two areas where we effectively apply higher scrutiny and have a different set of stipulations that are more restrictive. So the first and the most and the oldest, I should say, is the restricted licensing area, which is the one in red right now. And then the second is the Broadway Corridor Restricted Licensing Area, which is the BCRLA, and that's in green above. And the practical way to apply these, as you just saw, is that when you're drawing up your affidavits, basically the establishment would just make sure it meets the criteria outlined in the policy. So it's worked for the ones that we've just done today and in the past. These each have many different facets, but the key requirement is that 2 a.m. post time on the weekends and 1 a.m. on the weekdays. So we've found that the policies aren't completely perfect. So applicants and members alike find them confusing and sort of overcomplicated. And so the RLA task force, which concluded last summer, found that the RLA should be dramatically simplified. So we're launching the initiative on that note, and the goal is to sort of pick up where the task force left off, gather data, and come up with a proposal to simplify the RLA and the BCRLA. So I don't want to predefine the scope of the effort, but the ideal outcomes would be one, a single policy that consolidates the two into one. And we would then apply that to every part of the district that we flag as high scrutiny. And we would have a standardized set of requirements for that. We would also potentially look at the geographical area, but we would start with this as a starting point and maybe through the process, it lands at something slightly different. I know part of the recommendation from the RLA task force was eliminating that little red thing at the far right there at the bottom. But that would be up to the person spearheading this to determine. And then a final thing would be potentially like an affidavit that we could just apply to all high scrutiny area applications, or at least start there as a starting point. And it would also be helpful to come up with more Pennsylvania, because the high scrutiny areas is like a mouthful. So yeah, I anticipate this will take many months and maybe can be discussed at several different meetings. But that's it in a nutshell. Any questions? I'll pause there for any questions or comments.
I guess what is, just for some background.
Yeah.
Like I've been on this committee 5 years, five or 6 years. Yeah, I feel like these programs made a lot more sense when we were not reviewing the applications one by one. I remember it was pretty common. We would have meetings canceled because the chair at the time would, kind of look at the applications ahead of time and just decide what would come to the meeting. And I guess my question or my thought is, because we are now looking at applications individually, I just don't really know if we this at all. In a sense that by looking at every single application, we're kind of applying a heightened scrutiny of review anyways. So I guess, why do we feel like we still need it? Or is it possible that one of the outcomes would be that we just get rid of it altogether?
Yeah, so to answer your second question first, yes, that's definitely possible. But it would need to address, I think, that what has become the current reason for its existence, which is just basically to say, while we look at everything individually, there are a subset of areas where, like 21st Street, for example, where there's just some challenges and having this set of stipulations that we apply consistently rather than telling one that they have to close early and the one that's a little later, helps us, run into those negotiations. But definitely it's a possible outcome that it would be reduced to eliminate.
I'd like to get rid of it.
I'm a little confused, Samir, are you saying like in the past that, yeah, what do you mean, say the applications were not considered individually?
So in the past, what would happen was that the chair and the vice chair would basically look at all the applications that came in for the month. And they would determine what they considered to be worth the committee's time, and then they would assign it to someone.
That's still how we also do that.
Okay, I thought we were looking at every application.
No,
we're doing, yeah, I guess the process is essentially like, the chair and vice chair essentially review every application that comes in and we flag ones that are potentially concerning. And we do use the RLA actually to flag some, like everything that's in the RLA that has a later close time than what's stipulated in the policy, we do bring to it.
Okay, got it. So I guess like what maybe I should rephrase and say, what might make sense from my perspective is having these high scrutiny areas where it's just every application in that zone gets flagged, but we don't necessarily have specific requirements.
Todd, please go ahead.
Okay, so I think I agree that the RLA area is ripe for review, and the previous committee or task force that recommended that it be reviewed and simplified, I don't know if I agree with that. But certainly a task force should be appointed and data should be taken at the same scale and with the same care that was used to create the RLA, whatever it was, 20 years ago. I mean, when I came on the board, it was already 8 years old. So in that effort, I think that we absolutely should get our best and brightest and give us a decent amount of time. And everybody here should look at what came out, the written report that came out and established the RLA. Now, I didn't serve in that, but I've been enforcing it. The idea that we can simplify it and have one standard for our entire district, I think is misguided. I think that if we have this task force, the people on it and the mandate should not prejudge any result. They should look at it and see what the data says and what the information says. My experience doing endless numbers of due diligences, and I've said this many times, is that having in problematic areas, look, we know that the RLA area has severe problems, and without some set of standards to guide us when we do the due diligence is like, look what's happening. The fact that we have for the RLA area, standardized closing hours so we can at least prod people to do the right thing. I mean, that's not something that should apply equally all over our district. In short, let's have the task force. Let's get a good cross-section of people on it with an open mind that can cull the data and a decent amount of time to do the work. And I think that we can probably change things. And I think some of these problems are just intractable. I think that one part of it is when we finish the report, that report should go to the city council and our elected officials, because the only way we may be able to solve these intractable problems is with changes to the laws. We have intractable establishments with grandfathered hours of operation that don't make sense given the current composition of the area. And, you know, these are all challenges which, you know, we as a community board and this committee should be able to meet. As far as the Broadway area, I served on that task force, right? Along with some other hardworking people that were both board members and people in the community. And it's a similar situation there. The Broadway task force came up with standards of review and recommendations that met the unique areas of that neighborhood, right? So I don't think that what we've seen there is anywhere near as problematic as the RLA area. But I don't know that that area is, I mean, that just happened. That was just done a few years ago. But never say never, right? If we have the time and energy, we could certainly go and look and see, you know, how the standards that we set forth. Just very quickly, a major concern was to limit the size of the kind of establishment that would be there, because the Broadway area in that zone was just so congested or had potential for congestion. So it would be interesting as part of the task force to go back as that part of the Broadway corridor has changed. Is, you know, do we really need it? Is it something that should be revisited? Anyway, those are my general thoughts, and I hope that all of us will consider them.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, this will be a very long initiative, so you definitely be a lot of time to, you know, gather additional feedback as well. So with that, I think we can close out the issue. I just wanted to flag this for everyone. It's gonna be coming up, and I will send out an email with a request for comment and some volunteers as well to lead. So please do think about whether you wanna join. So before we go, I just wanted to thank all the outgoing members. I think we have Gabby on the call, Zona, BJ. You'll be sincerely missed on the committee, not just for your diligence skills, but for your, you know, just being great people all around. So we appreciate you being on the committee. And I also wanted to flag that we have another announcement, which is that Yoden, who's been my trusted partner since day one as chair, will be stepping down as vice chair starting at the next meeting. So yeah, Yoden, it's been a pleasure working with you.
Pleasure working with you.
Talk about this
Yeah, it
more.
has been, and I hope to stay on SLAP committee, just not as vice chair.
Yeah, no, just totally. Yeah, and I'm excited you'll be staying on the committee. And so last but certainly not least, I want to congratulate Andrea, who has been appointed vice chair, and she's been shadowing Yoden for months now. So she's ready to hit the ground running. So yeah, Yoden, please, big shoes to fill, but I know Andrea's ready to fill. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you very much, everyone. Hope you have a good rest of the week.
Let's go Knicks.
Yeah.